This is a brief tutorial on how an MLA formatted essay should look. As you can see, I have a blank document here. I'm using Windows 7 on a PC and it's Microsoft 10. One thing I should preface this entire video with is if you get stuck and you can't figure something out. I've had students come up to me and say, I've clicked on everything, I spent over an hour and I couldn't find it. And my question is always the same. Did you click on this button right here? In which case the answer is inevitably no. Make sure you click on this. If you have a question how to do a hanging indent or anything like that, click on this. If there's one thing Microsoft is very good at, it's its help feature. Getting back to the paper. I'm in the paper, and the first thing I want to do is I want to format this now so I don't have to do it all later. I'm first going to go to Page Layout, click on Margins, and make sure that all the margins are 1 inch, left, right, top, and bottom. Next, I'm going to go back to my home page. I'm going to go to my font. I want to make sure that it's Times New Roman, and I want to make sure that it's size 12. Now, this is going to be the same consistently for the entire paper. The next thing I want to do is go to Paragraph. And here I can do a couple things. I'm going to click on Don't Add Space Between Paragraphs of the same style. And just to be safe, I'm going to set these to 0. That's going to prevent any extra space from being added where it doesn't belong. In addition, I'm going to set it at double space because my entire document gets double spaced. Now, I'm ready to begin typing. I'm going to start, without hitting the Enter key, with the student's name. In this case, we have Abby, good student, and followed by the professor's name. That's followed by the title of the class. In this case, it's English 1A. And that's followed by the date. Today happens to be the 22nd of May, 2014. There's a variety of ways of doing the date. I particularly like this method because it gets rid of punctuation. No punctuation is necessary when written this way, and that solves a lot of issues for students. Next, I'm going to click the Enter key only once and start with a title. This title happens to be about horror films, so I'm going to try to make it creative. Try to grab my reader's attention with the title. And let's call it Slashing Stereotypes in Horror Films. There's a couple things you should notice about this title. It's not underlined, it's not italicized, it's not put in bold, it's not an increased font size or anything like that. I pretty much leave it alone with one exception, and that is I have to center it. I could go up here and do it that way as well. Once that's in place, I hit the Enter key once again only. I want to bring that back over here, and now I get to type my entire essay. I'm going to take a little bit of a shortcut here, and I'm just going to add random text. So to do that, I'm going to put in, let's see, 8 lines per paragraph, put in about 12 paragraphs, hit Enter, and there's my magical text. Now, as you can see, the one thing that didn't happen here that should happen is whenever I start a new paragraph, I should hit that Tab key. That indents it roughly 5 spaces, or a ½ inch. And you can see that if I were to go through and do that for everything, whoops, I messed up there. This would take a little bit of time, which I'm not going to bother doing right now. I just wanted to show you this is how it should look. There's one last thing I need to do here, and that is paginate the entire thing, which means to put in page numbers. To do that, I'm going to double click at the top of the page. And I want to go over here where it says page number because I want to insert the page number. As you can see, the number 1 appears, and I'm going to put the student's last name only here. Hit the space bar just once. And now, if I scroll down here, you're going to see that each page is subsequently numbered. Now, had I typed in the number 1, the number 1 would appear on every single page because whatever I type up here appears on every page. That's why we want to make sure we're inserting the page number. Just to let you know, some teachers have issue with the first page having the last name and the page number. Years ago, MLA required that that not be there. Some teachers still hold on to that, so it's always best to ask with your instructor to find out what he or she prefers. If this isn't wanted, it's very simple. Click here. You click on Different First Page, and it magically disappears from that page. I clicked outside of it just so you can take a look at it. See how the first page no longer has anything here. But if I go to the subsequent pages, indeed they are numbered appropriately. Numbers 2, 3, 4, etc. So there you have the very basics of an MLA style essay. Real quick, I'm just going to cover a works cited page as an overview, even though I'll get into more detail with a later video. A works cited page gets its own separate page. I recommend students actually put it in the same file as the essay, even though students tend not to do that. I'm going to title it Works Cited Page. And I already have some entries, and I'm just going to copy and paste in there. Now, first of all, like the other title in your paper, this one too gets centered. And like the other one, there's no underlining, no bold, no quotations. I also want to point out that these do not get numbered or bulleted or anything like that. One thing that does happen, first of all, I have to fix the font. This font is wrong. Put that with 12, just like the rest of the paper. Now, once I've highlighted this text, I want to do what's called a hanging indent. To do that's really, really simple. I go here to Paragraph, over here to Special, click on Hanging. Once I click OK, you're going to see that these things magically fix themselves. That's what a hanging indent looks like. There's a couple more things I need to do here. Because I copied and pasted, I've made myself a little bit of work. I have to put these in alphabetical order. So I happen to know that N comes before W because I'm a really smart person. And I get rid of the extra space. And lo and behold, that looks just about right with one exception. Remember, the entire paper these days is double spaced. And now we have what looks like a good works cited page. There'll be more on that in a future video. But as you can see, I now have the makings of an MLA style essay.